A Farmer's Tale. The sprawling farm was nestled in the heart of the countryside, surrounded by rolling hills and verdant fields. The farmer, a rugged, weathered man in his late 60s, had dedicated his entire life to tending to the land. Despite the long days and endless labor, he took pride in the fertile soil and the crops that sprouted from it, providing for his family and sustaining his way of life. As he trudged through his fields, he was faced with a new problem: strange paw prints that marred the rows of crops. The sight filled him with a sense of unease, for he knew that this could mean only one thing: something was preying upon his livelihood. The farmer was no stranger to hardship, but this was a challenge he had not faced before. He had struggled for years to make ends meet, and now these paw prints threatened to upend all that he had worked for. He was determined to get to the bottom of this mystery, no matter what the cost. His mind was consumed by thoughts of the strange paw prints. He had lived in these parts for as long as he could remember, and he had never seen anything like them. They were large, with deep indentations that spoke of a creature of considerable weight. He tried to think of what sort of animal could have made them, but he was at a loss. It was as if some unknown beast had wandered into his fields, leaving its mark on the crops. The farmer was not one to shy away from a challenge, and so he resolved to uncover the mystery of the paw prints. He spent the night poring over old books and journals, searching for any clues that might shed light on the strange tracks. Despite his best efforts, he was unable to find any mention of such a creature. But he refused to give up. He was determined to protect his crops and his livelihood. The next morning, the farmer set out on his fields once again. He was shocked to find that the paw prints had returned. This was no mere coincidence. The creature that had made these tracks was still out there, and it was stalking his crops. The farmer was filled with a sense of urgency. He knew that he had to act fast if he was to protect his livelihood. He set about laying traps, checking them regularly throughout the day, his mind consumed by a single thought: catch the beast or lose everything. The farmer stayed up late that night, waiting for the creature to return to his fields. He had set up a stakeout, armed with nothing more than a lantern and a rusty shotgun. As he sat there in the darkness, he couldn't shake the feeling that he is being watched. His heart raced as the sounds of the night took on an ominous tone, and he found himself gripping the shotgun tighter with each passing moment. Then, without warning, the creature appeared. It was unlike anything the farmer had ever seen. Its eyes glowed like embers in the night, and its skin was a sickly shade of green. It let out a blood-curdling scream, and the farmer knew that he was in grave danger. He fired his shotgun, but the creature was quick, dodging the shots with ease. It chased him through the fields, its eyes fixed upon him, its claws tearing at the earth as it gained ground. The farmer was running for his life, but he refused to give up. In a last-ditch effort, he spun around and made a quick stand, blasting the creature with both barrels of his shotgun. It let out a final scream. The farmer was alive. He had faced down an otherworldly monster and emerged victorious. Exhausted from his battle, the farmer stumbled back to his homestead and fell into a deep sleep. He dreamed of the creature, its eyes blazing as it chased him through the fields. When he awoke, he was tired and battered, but he was alive. He rubbed the sleep from his eyes and made his way back to the fields, eager to see what had become of the creature he had slain. But when he arrived, he found that there was no trace of the monster. It was as if it had never existed. Instead, the farmer was greeted by a sight that filled him with awe and wonder. His fields, which had been plagued by the paw prints only days before, were now the biggest and healthiest they had ever been. The crops were thriving, and the soil was even more rich and fertile. The farmer was no longer struggling to make ends meet. He had never seen anything like it. And so the farmer lived out the rest of his days, tending to his fields and reaping the bountiful crops that sprouted from the earth. He never spoke of the monster he had faced, for fear that no one would believe him. But he knew the truth, and he was content in the knowledge that he had overcome the impossible and put an end to his financial woes forever. The fields of his farm were a testament to his bravery, and he was proud of all that he had accomplished. And he was proud of all he accomplished.